lot of people have a lot of different controversial thoughts about it, but so starting back in 1995 when I began my classical journey with my riding instructor Linda LeGrand, who was studying in Portugal with Mr. Oliveira. I had a horse that I had been competing in dressage, and it was only first level, but we were winning. We were born in the 70s, like 75, and high score junior young rider and high score of the day and all this stuff, or high score of the year. But I felt that there was a piece missing, and at the time I was working with a British instructor, which was very nice. It was a change of pace from what I had been learning from it previously. But we kind of hit a wall, and I realized I wanted more than just the competition winning aspect of riding. I was always seeking for more of a connection. So when I had started riding with Miss LeGrand, Linda, one of the first things that was discussed was, you know, your seat, of course, but seat is irrelevant if you don't have a good leg. And Mr. Oliveira writes about it and all that, but no one ever really has specifically stated, you know, what about the leg. So, you know, when we were taught to sit more towards our tailbone with an open pelvis, and the legs would hang and they would drape down like wet towels. With that being said, we were taught that if we closed our thighs, then it restricted the movement of the horse's shoulders, rib cage, and didn't allow the horse to lift its back. So, of course, I was at the time riding a very hot Trakehner, and if I closed my thighs, he panicked. And I learned that as I trained myself, I spent like a month walking, because I realized that I had been doing it all kind of incorrectly as far as the new way that I was being taught. But if you close your thighs on the horse, you impede the movement of the rib cage, the shoulder, and the horse truly cannot pick up its back. So, again, moving on, started to ride with Bettina Drummond. Same concept. I was riding very hot reactive horses at the time, so I learned very early on, prior with Miss LeGrand, that, you know, you don't close your thighs, because if you do, so many things go wrong. Your back stiffens, your hip joint locks, your back is no longer fluid following the horse's movement. The leg becomes a hindrance from the knee up if you close it on the horse. So, you know, we were always taught to, obviously you use your calves when you ride. So as I was evolving as a student and learning and riding and all this and that, it was, you know, never, ever, I repeat, never did we close our thighs on our horses, because Bettina taught us that if we did, we could never access the back of the horse. So when people come to me for lessons, I spend a lot of time, you know, helping them to find a more correct leg placement, position, feel, etc. And a lot of times people will come and they'll grip with their thighs on my horses, and if they do, my horses don't move, because my horses have been taught that that's a hindrance. So when I sit up on the horse and I walk and follow the rhythm of the walk, for me to stop my horse, I just stop my rhythm. It don't follow the hind legs anymore, but my leg is, my knee is out, my hip is open, my butt is down, My calf naturally comes close to the horse. If you open your knee, that naturally will move your leg into the horse's side, and it creates more of a curve. So my legs are very loose and very soft. The other thing is how we put our feet in the stirrups. My teachers, both classical teachers, had very level feet. So the feet were more parallel to the ground. So you could actually use your leg in many different ways if you keep your feet parallel to the ground. If you push your feet down like this, obviously that then tightens my hips and my thighs, and then my horse doesn't move anymore. Which I guess that's okay if you want the horse to stop that way, which we don't, but that's okay. So there's a lot of different ways out there that people are teaching. I found that, through the years, the more I stayed out of the way and followed the rhythm of the horse with that position that I was taught, I would get a lot more results. And a lot of the horses who had been tight, tense, restricted, nervous, whatever, would respond a lot faster as long as I stayed out of the way with my thighs. So, as we ride, it's keeping the leg relaxed down. My feet meet the stirrups. I never push in my stirrups because if you do that, then you're just pressing more, creating more tension. So like your legs drape and your feet touch the stirrups or connect with the stirrups. And yes, when you have to post, you need to use your stirrups, or you use your stirrups for balance. But if you remain centered with your body over the center of the horse and yourself lined up over the middle, and you stay in the middle, and you know how to kind of drop down a little bit more over your inside seat bone without changing your body position, because it's all isolating, releasing things internally to come down or to communicate with the horse, then you become a lot more of a partner, dance partner, just less of a hindrance with the horse, and the two of you become more connected because you're sitting in a much more open position and you're not blocking the horse. If I close my thighs on her, she stops, and then she would go side to side. I don't, we were trained very, very judiciously to never tighten our legs. We were only allowed to use our lower leg. We also did not use a lot of hand. There would be days that we would be flying around the riding arena in our lessons, and Bettina would not let us touch the reins. So we had to really learn about how to accompany the movement of the horse and how to use the leg and be effective. I still don't know everything. I still have a lot to learn, hence the reason why I traveled to Belgium to get my lessons. But I also do know that I was taught in a manner that created a very beneficial way to communicate with horses of all types. So that's my little rant about the legs. I mean, we could go in about the timing of the legs and the timing of the seat and the back and all of those things. But, that's for future stuff. And those are more for people that are interested in taking lessons, because, it's important that if I was going to teach people and give away my 30 years of work, that I would like to be able to participate and help them excel and give them the pieces as they progress and move along. Nothing is free. I work very hard for my education. I spent many years, lots of money, and lots of time on my education. And I feel that the leg is one of the most important pieces, because if you haven't mastered the use of the leg, or how to hold and carry without getting in the horse's way, I know there will be a lot of controversy. People will disagree with me. But I work very hard not to use my thighs. And to stay very balanced in the saddle with my stirrups and my body. Oh, very tight. Excellent. Very tight. And you know, sometimes you have to resist because the horse will push into the thigh. So you have to make sure that the thigh is open. Yes. Good. Yes. Yes. Don't quit. That was awesome. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oops. Good. Mama. Nice. What happened? I think Allie's getting bugged.
Are the bugs bugging you?
I should have left you up at the barn. All the more reason not to keep your thighs closed. Good girl. Very nice. Go a little bit the other way.
What's the matter? Gotta go back in time?
So especially when a horse is tentative or fearful, you know, they have a tendency to fall through the inside shoulders. This one she gets a little bit stuck. And the horse wise. So again, it's important that you stay in the center. Keep your legs very loose, open. Find your center. Hover over your inside seat bone. Follow the rhythm of the horse's back. La la la. Oh. La la la. Always go for lengthening the neck. Because if the neck is short, the horse will pull the shoulders in, or the neck in, and then the shoulders will ricochet side to side. This is one of the most difficult things, which is why it's very important to ride with your thighs more open. Hi, Kingfisher. Kingfisher!
That's a mockingbird.
So this way she has a little harder time sculpting the circle. Center, again, following the rhythm of the horse's hind legs. Excellent. Excellent. Very nice. Excellent. Good girl. No. Very nice. Good job.
Whoa, pick it off and then, hold on. Together. Yeah. Fantastic. I have to resist all my
Tendencies.
This one has ears.
Girl. Tried to keep this from going out and that from falling in. Left hind, right fore. Excellent.
Good job. Very nice. Careful. Ah, good girl. Nice. Woo. Very good girl. Very cool.
Very fortunate to have this horse. It's one of a rarity here. Sweet.